Hello and welcome to another edition of Capital Area Chats. I'm your host, Paul Brogan, and we're about all things in the greater Concord region. The people, the places, and the things that make this an amazing place to live, to work, and to play. Today's show is a bit of play, but also work. I guess you could combine the two because it's about dancing. It's about letting yourself go and allowing your body to just go with the music. And we have the perfect guests with us today to talk about that. From the Concord Dance Academy, Cindy Flanagan, the amazing Cindy Flanagan. And I will go into all of the things I feel about Cindy Flanagan in a few minutes. And we also have with us Kayla. And Kayla Taylor has been studying with the Concord Dance Academy now for 15 years, since she was 3 years old, I would think that would be. And I really admire someone who has that kind of stick-to-itness to just pursue a passion like that and something that's truly amazing. But Cindy, you are the one that inspires because 43 years ago when you were 3, you opened the Concord Dance Academy here in Concord. And since then, generations, I think we figured hundreds of thousands of individuals, if you count the students, their parents, and the grandparents who are supportive and encouraging of the students, but you have really affected and influenced so many lives in this community. You won a Pinnacle Award from the Chamber of Commerce, the governor recognized you, all kinds of other honors have befallen the school, not befallen, I think
fell upon.
Fell upon, thank you very much. And so deserving, because I will very quickly say that I was a judge at the Christmas parade, holiday parade in November. And your Dance Academy performance had people mesmerized. I don't think they had ever really up close, all of those around me, had ever seen such professionalism and expertise as I witnessed. And I think I said to you before the show, the only thing I could equate it to was when I was 12 years old and for the first time went to Radio City Music Hall to the Christmas show and watched the Rockettes do their high kicks and went home and announced I was going to become a Rockette. That didn't happen, but watching the Concord Dance Academy perform, I say bravo to you, to the teachers, to the students, and you created a moment in time that was absolutely amazing. So thank you for that. And
Kayla was one of the performers.
I know, I recognize you. I've watched it.
She's front and central because you always put the tall girl
yes.
in the middle. Go tall to small.
And you were wonderful. You
Thank you.
truly, it's so obvious watching you dance that your entire being is going into this performance, that you're not just going through the motion, this is what I learned in class, I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to do it to the music. It goes much further than that. It goes much beyond that. So, bravo.
Amazingly, that he is a good judge, isn't he? Because last weekend, we were in a dance competition, and one of the judges said, the reason I'm giving you the highest elite award is that your whole body is into this dance. And she did a solo, and so that she, some of them come out and are very shy and do their thing, and then Kayla comes out and it's like, you have to watch me. I'm commanding the stage. So she got the highest score. It was wonderful.
Wow.
How many? 300 entries.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How exciting.
So she's a high achiever.
And you plan to pursue dancing as your career, and you're a senior at Concord High this year.
Yes.
Well, actually, she's probably going to go into pre-med, right?
Possibly, yes.
Really?
Yep.
She's not just a pretty girl.
Okay.
She's a brainiac, too.
Okay.
She's just not another pretty face.
Yep.
Okay.
This girl's got brains.
Well, it's good to have another career too, and then you can challenge yourself in that way, but you can also do the dancing too. And,
Right.
and when opportunity presents itself, who knows
And where did you audition about a month ago?
The Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater.
Wow.
Yes.
That is prestigious. That is amazing. Wow, great. Absolutely. Well, fingers crossed for you and everything. So, Cindy, what made you decide? Did you always love dance, even as a child?
Well, I
Music
didn't.
and movement? No?
Well, because my mother was the teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and she owned 3 studios, and it was quite expected of my sister and I. And I said I wanted to be a public school teacher, and she said, well, then you're going to have to get yourself there. So I got myself to Penn State University and taught public school. And from there, Jostens American Yearbook Company said, what's a girl like you doing teaching school? Can we hire you in the 70s? And so I sold their Jostens yearbooks. And then one strange summer, I had an odd dream and said, you know, I should open a dance school in Concord, New Hampshire. And I'm just going to do it part-time while the boys are young.
Yes.
And the first year I had 50, and then 150, and then 250, and then 350, and we outgrew our studio, and that's when I purchased the Page Belding buildings. And then the back part is senior citizens that we had developed, and then kept the front part for the dance school. And the baby's now 38, so I guess I'm still there.
Wow, that's
So
something.
you know, you never want to do what your parents tell you
Right.
that you have to do. But then it came full circle. And I love watching the kids grow and get better and, you know, challenge them. And this one, when she did her first solo, she was 6 years old, and just a little happy bubble up there. And I said, you know, this girl's got something cooking. Let's stay with it. Stay with it. But many times people quit too soon.
Yes. Yes.
Because, you know, you're a cute little baby. You're getting better between 9 and 11. At 12, you're looking around and everyone's developing differently. But by the time you're 14, you're all that in a bag of chips, and you should stick with it because you get really good. It takes a long time.
Yes.
Practice makes perfect.
It does. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, so you have about how many students right now?
Well over 300.
Wow.
And that's down for us because of COVID.
Yes.
You know, people made other selections in their life, and a lot of the students turned to sports and then loved it. And I'm like, oh. But we still have a very strong core of students. But, you know, when I say only over 350 or 300, you know, it's really a lot, and we're appreciative. You know, compared to some other schools that, you know, couldn't retain them because,
Right.
I mean, that was a strange thing to happen to all of
It's
us.
a very strange
Yeah.
thing, and
And for
we're
us to
still
teach-
reeling from it.
Dance on Zoom.
I know. It's
And the little
nuts.
ones, Kayla also helps us, you know, the little ones too. And,
Yep.
and the little ones are like, hey, Audrey, you have 17 stuffed animals in your bedroom? What's going on over there? And so it was so cute because we did it, but
Yes.
it was a
A
challenge.
challenge. Oh, absolutely. It's not, I mean, it's the energy of people in a room together too that you
Right.
feel and connect.
Right.
And you challenge yourself to try to be as good as those around you. And
Right.
it's,
If
much
you're
more.
Right. If you're just one racehorse in a field, you don't really run fast. You get a couple other racehorses beside you, you're like, I got to keep up with
Yes.
these horses.
Yes, so
Yeah.
much.
So we always, Kayla's our like secret weapon. She's always in all the A's, B's, and C's. Like she is in a lot of the classes, and they're like, I'm in a group with Kayla Taylor, like the musical theater. They're like, Mama, I'm dancing with Kayla Taylor. You know, because the little ones, she's the rock star.
Yes.
You know, in
yes.
all of her group. She's got 20 other girls in her group, but they really admire the teenagers and have something to look up to. So yeah,
Oh.
it's really good.
And it's not just for girls. Because for a long time, people years ago, if a guy
stigma,
wanted to,
right.
exactly, and so, oh no, go into sports or do something else where the injuries you could suffer could permanently, you know,
Damage.
change your entire life. But you do have boys in the classes.
At this time, we probably have 34 boys in the school.
Wow, almost 10%.
If we count all the peanuts and
Yes.
then all the way through to the hip hop older boys. So we have quite a few, and we have quite a number on the competitive team. Because we have the regular school where everyone is, and then the competition team is the one that's currently competing. They'll be at the Capitol Center not this weekend, next weekend. And it's free for people to come and go all day Saturday and Sunday, and it's very interesting
Mm-hmm.
because then the schools from Massachusetts and Vermont and everybody come up, and they are always impressed with boys, and we have to write them ahead and say, please prepare a dressing room. We have a lot of
Yes.
male dancers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what probably pushed the boy attendance forward is So You Think You Can Dance and Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, the song,
Yes.
I can do that.
Yes.
Or like this one, her brother
Mm-hmm.
sat and said, hey, I can do that.
Yep.
Why don't you tell them about your brother?
How old was your brother when he first started? taking-
So my brother is 9 months older than me. So
He was probably a year behind you starting.
yeah, so he started a year after I started. So he was
The boy in the window going,
Mm-hmm.
5 when he started. Yeah, he was 5 or 6.
tell him where he is now.
Right now he's a sophomore at Boston Conservatory
Wow.
for musical theater.
Mm-hmm.
Full
Yep.
scholarship.
Yep, on
Mhm.
a full tuition
So
scholarship.
he really took it serious.
Yeah.
And he's a triple threat.
Mm-hmm. Singer, dancer, and
Mhm.
actor?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, Clint Close hated to see him go.
I'm sure he did. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. But that's great. That's really
So, but he
wonderful.
currently has, is it called an agent or a manager? Or
An agent. Yeah.
An agent,
Mhm.
yeah.
That is.
Trying to recruit him
Yes.
for some shows. So
Mhm.
that's really exciting that
That is very
'Cause-
exciting.
you're one of many Jenny as a girl.
Exactly. But
But as a triple threat male,
yeah, you really can almost write your own ticket
Mm-hmm.
and just, take it from there. So, well, great. I wish him all the luck and wonderful. Your family sounds amazing. With was there a lot of music growing up in your family? Did you hear?
I mean, it's always been like a big part of our lives,
Mhm.
but I guess we just took it and ran with it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you knew when you first started at the Concord Dance Academy that this was really something you wanted to do. It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
just, I'm going to take dancing lessons so I can, learn movement and things like that. But it was more than that.
Yeah, there was no really question of whether I wanted to continue. It was always something that I knew I had to stick with.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That is wonderful. That really is.
and how many entries are you in this year, the season for competition?
This competitive season, I'm in 11 numbers.
So that's like reading 11 books
Wow.
at the same time, memorizing
Uh-huh.
each change,
Yep.
full change, like every step, dance step is memorized. And I think that's probably why so many of our students are on high honors.
Yes.
Because at a young
Yes.
age, they had to learn quickly
Mm-hmm.
the choreography and memorize it all.
Yes.
And execute it and perform it and use your arms and smile.
And to have all of that
Yeah.
and to be able to process all of
Yeah.
that required. I mean, you're
Sharp.
fine-tuning your brain constantly and keeping it very sharp and
Yeah.
alert. And that's wonderful. That really is. We are going to flash the website information, ConcordDanceAcademy.com, during the broadcast. And I would urge viewers to go check it out and check out some of the videos. You will be blown away by
The quality.
Exactly.
These kids are
Yes.
amazing. Right.
You would swear you're watching a Broadway company. You really would. Kayla, beforehand, Cindy and I were looking at a couple of the clips with Matt to decide on something to be shown also during the show when he edits it in. And it really is amazing. I mean, I just stand there watching it and saying, this is in Concord, New Hampshire. And certainly Concord Dance Academy is one of those pieces of our community that very few communities have, of this level of professionalism and training, and yet fun too. Cindy, you want it to be fun, right?
We
For
do.
them,
And
too.
you know how we pretty much make it that we don't have to really discipline a lot because on the team they have the handbook.
Mhm.
And it's pretty clear
The expectations.
the expectation. And I'll tell you, children love to know the parameters.
Yes.
Now they want to push buttons too.
Yeah.
But rarely, because this is something they're either paying for because they're working and contributing towards it, their parents are paying money for this, and they want to be there. you know, we rarely have a real behavior problem. But if we do, if a girl is naughty and rude to her mother backstage, she has to write a letter explaining why she did that. So we don't want any,
Exactly.
we just want you to be a proper gentleman or lady. And it really, when someone comes in and goes, I'm so mad, blah, 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 I said, well, right here you signed a piece of paper that said you understood our policies. So I'm the one who should be mad at you, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Cindy. So clarity is a gift.
Yes.
So we're very clear, and you could go on our website and you can see what the costs are. You can see what our explanation of the classes are. What you can see, what the time. You can. Everything is spelled out very clearly. The dates we have at 4:15 on May 29th. They're going to be at the Capitol Center for the Arts for our big show.
Yes.
Now our small show, our Christmas show, we do at the City Auditorium because we like to donate. Then we turn back and donate over $1,500 every year for the last 20 years. So we've donated a lot of money back to that to improve the seating and improve the curtains. And we got new curtains this year.
Yes.
And
The Friends of the Audi.
yeah, and I was a former president, so I know the ins and outs of the Friends of the Audi. And so you know, here's the thing. We are performers, so we have to represent and take care of the places in which we perform.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's our connection.
Exactly.
You know, so Concord Dance Academy does support a lot of things in town. And what they do for the Christmas show is they raise money, they bring in baked goods, and we have raffles. And we donate that to Friendly Kitchen, St. Paul's Church, Friends of the Audi. So we have our whole list of people of which that goes back to.
And you're teaching a very good lesson to your students in the process about giving back and about how blessed and fortunate they are to be with an organization that has that kind of a standard and kind of a connection to the community. You're not one of a chain of, years ago, Arthur Murray or, you know, the chain dance schools
we're unique.
and things like that. Yes,
And
exactly.
our instructors are unique because they all, I knew them all since they were 3 and 4 and 5. And now a lot of them teach elementary school during the day and then they come teach for us at night, or one works at a law firm and then comes to us at night. And so to teach, so we have that understanding of what expectations are. And that we're very classical, very conservative, and it's a well-rounded program. We even have karate.
That's true.
Kayla, what is your favorite kind of dancing? Do you have a particular kind that you really feel more connected with?
Yeah, I would say overall my most favorite style of dance is tap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's something about tap. I mean, there's just, you know, something that
You just get
I mean,
in.
people who dismiss it, oh, it's just banging on the floor, making noise, have no clue as to what tap
Integral
dancing.
pieces.
Exactly, exactly. I was telling Cindy beforehand, I knew Eleanor Powell, and I took 2 weeks of lessons from her, which just, you know, after I got over the, oh my God, I'm in her presence, was learning to love it, even in her 60s. When she started to tap, she just suddenly was 30 years old. You know, it just, you take on something. It takes you to a place, I think. All dancing does, but I mean, for me, because I did have some tap, it just removes you from the humdrum world or something around you and takes you to something really, really special and all of that. So.
And we sort of insist on them not just doing tap, because tap's also my favorite, but to take, I said, you don't go to school just to learn English.
No.
You don't go to school just to have science. We're taking tap, ballet, jazz, lyrical, and Kayla even does hip hop. And we have quite a huge hip hop team this year.
Yep.
Really?
Did your mom say there were 90?
My mom said there was over like 90, over 100. I think there's
that now
115 plus.
have come on board.
Yes.
And it's not the hip hop that you would think that would be naughty. It's just, it's nice.
Yes.
Not naughty. We're on the nice list over here. Yeah, and it's good and it's clean and it's one thing that was good. The girls that have then switched over, you know, from the ballet, and it's quite a change and a weight shift and everything. They said, "Oh my gosh, we're using different muscles," and it's true because of the way you are lower in your stance, and so each one of the genres contribute to the next.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the turns and the leaps and that you're going to get from the ballet,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can use that in your jazz, and then you just, it carries through. So when someone says, no, I just want to take jazz,
And that's it. Yeah.
we're like, well, so we did a special thing. We said, if you take 4 subjects, it's $150 a month
Mm-hmm.
instead of the $75
Yes.
each, because we want you to experience them all.
Well, expand. You know,
Yeah.
step out of your comfort
Yeah.
zone, and you may find
You
something.
might like it.
Yes, totally.
Like spinach, you might like it.
Exactly. Yes, so true. So true. Now, do you teach classes for more mature people also? Do you have any classes? For,
We have probably, I think there's 66 adults.
Mm-hmm.
We have adult ballet,
Mm-hmm.
adult jazz,
Oh.
adult hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
3 groups of adult tap. So we have a beginner, and then I teach the intermediate,
Oh. Oh.
and then we have another teacher for the competition team. And these are the ladies that probably in the last 5 years they've won at least 3 nationals.
Wow.
They're really good. Susan Lynch, she's
Oh
one
my
of them.
God, is she?
And she's getting her
Dr.
8-year trophy.
Lynch.
Dr. Lynch is getting her 8-year
Wow.
trophy this year, I believe.
Wow.
And she's on the
That's a-
competitive team.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of great ladies that said, you know, some of them said after retirement, we just wanted to find something fun. And then they were intrigued because it's not as easy as you think.
No, it isn't. No, no,
But
no. It's
so when our regular teacher got ill, I was teaching all the classes, and I'm like, oh, you know, once you're in your 70s, shouldn't you slow down a little bit? So I said, I'll stick with one.
uh-huh. But
And that I always come in and see her dancing first. And I'm always like, well, she didn't point her toes. Well, I think your knee shouldn't be that far. I think. And then I'm like, zip it, lady.
But do you still find it fun to teach?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. And I love going to their competitions. My hands get sweaty just before I know they're, because you get the program of this school and this school and this school and then your school. And I'm anticipating it. I'm weaving back and forth. I'm thinking, oh my God, hope everyone remembers everything. And then I always say, whoop, whoop. I said, when I say whoop, whoop, kids, you know that I'm watching, okay?
Now, the competitions, are those like New Hampshire competition or New England, or does it go to nationals?
They can progress
Yes.
onto nationals. And we're doing 6 different companies, and they all host their own. So this weekend we're going to Kids Artistic Review. They're out of California, and they're at Plastow at Timberland Performing Arts, which is our big travel. We don't really like to travel. And then the rest of them are all at the Capitol. So we like to be, it's kind of home court advantage when you think about
Yes,
it.
it is.
You're in your own bed.
Yes.
Your kids aren't running up and down a hotel
Yes.
room.
True.
If you forget your gloves,
You can
send
get
Kayla
some-
home to get
yes,
them.
Exactly. Yes. Uh-huh.
And so it really, it's an
It's a
advantage
great
for us.
facility.
Yes.
It's a wonderful place.
Well,
to be.
I don't even know if you know that in 1989, I nailed myself to the front door and said, "You're not tearing this down." That was
Did
me.
you?
And I went to all the newspapers, and then someone said, "You need to go." I called the Arts Council,
Yeah.
and they said, "You need to go find John Swope. He'd be able to help you." So I, you know, and this is 25 or so
Yeah.
years ago. And I was a little spunky, and he said, "How'd you get in here?" Well, I was friends with his receptionist. And he said, "Well, I don't know. Everyone's tried it before, and it didn't work." And I said, "Well, you didn't have me." So he gave me a list of 10 men. He said, "If you can get these 10 men to agree to come to a meeting, then we'll move forward." I bugged them morning, noon, and night until I was relentless.
You broke them down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so then we moved
and
forward.
your passion.
Yeah.
And that's
I would dream about, because I hated to see that theater just be
Oh,
torn down.
it would have been
Oh my God,
terrible.
I had nightmares that
Yes.
something was going to happen.
And there was nothing else comparable, particularly now that they've expanded the stage and you know, improved so many things. I mean, there's few
There's
better
1,305 seats.
Yes, yes.
You know, the city auditorium is great, but there's
Yes.
only,
800 and
850. Yeah,
something.
8 and 50 if you really want to squeeze them up in that upper
way,
level.
way up,
But
it's not that
800.
comfortable.
So, and then, people said, well, and then we found that it's like cars. A Volkswagen Bug can get you someplace. This station wagon can get you here. A van can get you. So each theater's size was important in its own way.
Yes.
So, well, we could very much do one Christmas show at the Capitol, but we love the auditorium at Christmas, and we have to do 3 shows to get everybody in.
Yes.
Because we sell all 2,200 tickets out.
Wow. Wow, that's wonderful.
So-
You know, you have developed such a following because people know that if they come to the Concord Dance Academy, any recital performance, that you're going to walk out of there feeling,
You got your money's worth.
yes, and I didn't have to drive to Boston and pay for parking and all of that because it's the same polish and level of professionalism
Oh, we
that
go
you
all out,
get.
don't we?
It's,
I spend hours designing the lights.
Yes,
Mhm.
you
Do
she
you?
does. She
It
does.
drives me crazy, and I go into their classroom probably a month ahead, and I'm like, okay, what comes next? Are you making a triangle? What are you doing here? So that the the high sides will come in, and then or the block from the front, and then the uplights, and I really think it through to enhance the whole thing, and it takes me hours to do it. Everyone's like, why don't you just do it like everyone else? I'm like, because I don't want to be like everyone else. I want them to. This might
Exactly.
be the closest some of them get to Broadway.
Yes,
And so
exactly.
let's do the whole
Yes.
thing. And then
Yes.
Carl Smith, our beautiful voice, he's Club Soda Band, and his voice announces everything, cues everybody in, and it's so wonderful because we have it cut and then we have it re-edited, we edit the music. So our
Now, do you have a
performances-
say in the costumes also?
Oh, I do.
Yeah?
I try and cover belly buttons, I'll tell you that right now. I just in the last probably 2 years allowed them out a little bit of space in their tummy. Well, you can tell I'm old. Old school.
No,
but
no,
that
but-
actually, the
yes.
conservative, it never goes away. To be that set in, to be positive. And we win. We do a good job. We won highest technical school for 13 and over last weekend, the last competition.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Congratulations.
technique is where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you won the entertainment award. She does a musical theater.
theater,
This year
yeah.
she's doing Tina Turner. She's doing
Really?
Proud
Yeah, we're
Mary.
doing Proud Mary.
And there's 38 kids in the number.
Yes.
And the judges were just like, put their pencil down and were just watching it like, this is great.
So, very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is where the littles, we allow them from probably about 9 up to be in at 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 8,
Like
definitely.
Scarlett. and-
Gabby.
yeah.
Yeah.
And 2, and they're like, and they don't even know who Tina Turner is. They know who Kale is.
Yes, and if Kayla's doing it, it's
It must be
wonderful,
cool.
and it must be. Absolutely. Kayla, are you leaning more toward medical or toward dance? Are you still, you're leaving options open? Or?
So I'm not really like decided exactly what I want to go into, but I know I do want to do something like more science, like psychology, maybe pre-med, I don't know yet. But if any opportunities were to pop up, I'd be willing to look into them. Dance
Because there's only a
related.
short window.
Right.
You can
Yes.
always go back, but you need something
Right.
else.
Yes.
It's like being, except unless you're Tom Brady.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
It is.
Right,
It's-
because
it's
there's very
much
few that get beyond their
True.
30s and
True.
early 30s to perform.
you
So
have-
she should take every option
Yes.
available.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
She's also
knowing that
poet
there's
laureate.
another area you're interested in for later on, you
Yeah.
do have that chance.
Paul,
to
I don't
pursue
think
that.
we told you that. What are you here? Poet?
Poetry, just my poetry.
Your poetry, aren't you the state?
I calibrated the state competition last year for Poetry Out Loud.
Yes.
Yeah, because I won the school competition.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So you're going
like to
to be
perform,
the
I
first
guess.
female president of the United States in a few years.
I think
I am the
so.
You're
class
certainly
president.
well
She is class
rounded,
president.
and that would be.
Everyone wants
Wow.
to grow up to be like her, so that's why she is our perfect role model. Because
Yes.
the little girls are like, "Oh, well, she's done that.
Yes.
She's done that," and you
An
never hear her. I have to
inspiration.
pry it out of her to know half the stuff of her achievements, because she's very humble, unlike myself.
Stop it. Stop it. No, no.
No.
You're enthusiastic,
Yeah.
and you draw people in with that enthusiasm, because if you didn't have that, a lot of people, particularly in the beginning years, might not have gravitated to the school.
Right.
And,
for
it's,
probably up until the last 4 years or 5 years, I taught every baby class.
really?
Yeah, because I said, this is your foundation, and if you learn to love it, you'll stick with it.
And, it's
And you'll stick
if you
with
have
it.
a good first experience, yes.
If you, when- unlike us going to Catholic school, our first experience, if you're left-handed, you better look out.
Oh, you were spawn of the devil. or
That's
something.
right.
Yes, you had to write with your right hand. It was terrible.
Oh.
And they would force the students who wrote with their left hand to conform.
See
It
how
was-
easy you
There
have
was
it.
Oh,
no.
God, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, there was no. And at St. Peter's Grammar School, they would hang you out. We had coat hooks in the hallway. If you talked back, Sister Teresa took you out by your ear, lifted you up, and hung you by your belt
On the
there
hook.
for an hour and said, "Think about Christ on the cross," and walked away. And you hung.
What?
And when you went home and said,
So there's no
"Sister,"
dancing
Nah.
under your desk there.
and when you went home and said, "Sister did this to me," your parents punished you again and said she wouldn't have done it without a reason. So
Oh my
yeah, it was
gosh.
different. So I think we're almost running out of time.
Aw.
I'm going to remind people that ConcordDanceAcademy.com is the place where you can find out everything. Absolutely.
We're always
everything.
open 4 to 7 for tours. People just walk in, and we always have the office open, and the receptionist will be there to show you around.
All right. I made you gravitate down there and return to tap or something else. Try something else. Yes, I was very good at disco. I still have my platform shoes from the 70s.
Oh my God, I
but
bet
I
you
couldn't
do.
do much with those. I'd fall off them now and break something. But anyway, Cindy Flanagan and Kayla Taylor, I want to thank you both for coming by because you are an inspiration, both of you, and you're a legend in this community and will continue to be. And I feel you'll be
She's
a
going
legend
to
in
be too.
Broadway and the medical field and eventually in the White House. So one never knows. When but thank you both very much
You're
for coming
welcome.
by. And I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. And please keep letting me know if you like the shows. And check out the website for Concord Dance Academy and for their future shows. You've got to see it in person to really experience what the magic is about. So this is Paul Brogan, your host for Capital Area Chats, thanking you for stopping by today. And I want to thank Matt and the great people here at Concord TV. And I will see you again. Thank you.